Okay, let's review Tamiya's Tiger 1 early production Tiger tank from World War II. I'll go over a few things with the kit. First we'll start off with the rivet counting. Now look at that lovely box art. It's a Panzer Grey early tank depicted there, and this is the first major problem with this kit. That's wrong. Alright, but let's get into it a bit further. Now, this is an early Tiger. What does early mean? An early Tiger was something made from after the initial batch in late 1942 all the way up to about July, August 1943, when they changed to what's called a mid-production, which has a different cupola and a few other different things, mainly the addition of the Zimmerit on the side there. Furthermore, the way that Tamiya have put this together, you're really looking at a March to June 1943 build. Tamiya gives you 5 options with their call-outs. They're lovely call-outs here, unfortunately not in colour, but that's okay. Starting with one in Russia, which is correct, in XF60, which is Tamiya's attempt at dark yellow. The box art one, which is again in Russia, October 43, in Panzer Grey, which is incorrect. That one would have been either Panzer Grey with whitewash or in dark yellow as they were supposed to be from the factory in March. So it's fairly clear that this one would not be depicted this way. Next one, we've got the Bovington Tiger 131, which is not really that correct either. There's a few other specific parts to this tank that are not in this kit. We've got another Russian one in the tricolour camouflage, that's correct, in Russia, and one in whitewash. And a Kursk Tiger. This one is one I might actually do for my other kit, or a variation on the theme of this one. Okay, so that's the rivet counting. Let's just put that aside for now, because really, it's a great kit. Alright? Accuracy. How accurate is the kit out of the box? Is it good enough or not quite there? In my opinion, it's good enough. However, there's 3 main areas that do need some improvement if you want to build something a bit more authentic. The first of all is the tracks. Tamiya give you these one-piece vinyl type tracks, okay, and on the outside the detail is fine. For an early, they don't have ice cleats, they're just a solid. Come on camera, pick it up. The major problem is the guide horns. The guide horns are solid, and that's not how they are. They're hollow. So unless you're going to absolutely cover these with mud, that's a sticking point. That's not correct. Tracks are okay, although you can't really do the sag on these wheels here. It'll stick up like that and then come down as it goes around the idler. So that's the first thing. The next thing is on the rear of the tank, on the engine deck. On the real Tigers, there were 2 lots of grills to stop anything going into the air intakes and the fans there. Okay, most modern Tiger tanks now include a set of photo etch grills, but this is an older Tamiya kit and it doesn't include them. So you really do need to put them on. And the last thing is the cast texture on the mantlet, which you can almost see from the box art. You see the mantlet there? You get a choice of 2 mantlets. There's another one over here, because there are 4 total options you can build. They're different types. Okay. Now the problem is that is very, very smooth. It's extremely smooth. Tamiya have put in a small amount of texture on the outside, but it's nowhere near enough. These were rough. Not rough as guts, but they were rough. Okay. The other thing is on the exhaust shrouds. You get a small amount of texture. You can probably see a little bit of catching the light there. And as is, it's not too bad. Okay. You can probably see a little bit there. These were heavy cast iron shrouds that go around the exhaust. That's not bad, but it can be enhanced a little bit more. What improvements we can do to the kit in those areas? First of all, tracks. You can replace the tracks with some Dragon DS tracks if you buy a Dragon kit. These are Dragon's version of plastic vinyl. They have a fairly realistic sort of weight to them, and they glue together using normal plastic glue. The high point, of course, is they've got hollow guide horns. So there's your accuracy sorted out. Not the best solution, but it's a one step getting closer. The other way is to use SPRUE metal tracks, or get yourself a set of these. These, I think, are the best compromise between the two. They're plastic tracks, okay, not metal, but they have metal pins that hold them together, and you get the correct sag, and you get the workable as well. So for mine, that's probably the best solution, and not as expensive as the SPRUEs. A metal barrel, okay, an RB or one of the ABA barrels, okay, one piece metal. You save a lot of effort and time and having to do the kit barrel, which is 2 parts, and whack it on, and you get also some additional gaskets and flanges there that go on the end. So that's another good improvement. Probably the most important overall in terms of appearance, get some photo etch. You don't need to get a full set like this. I was able to get this nice and cheap, but what you're looking at is these side fenders, which can sometimes, not all the time, sometimes get beaten up. You've got exhaust shrouds. These definitely get beaten up all the time. They get bullet holes and so forth through them, and some engine grills. Okay, you don't need the rest of this stuff here. It's nice to have tool clasps and S1 launchers and so on and so forth, but you know, that's only a few dollars for the grills, and again, only a couple of dollars to do that. Or you can use Coke cans like some enterprising people do, or you can thin the side plastic ones out. But brass is better; it gives that better scale effect. For my mind, Tamiya instructions are the best in the business. I would pay someone to redraw all the Dragon and a few other manufacturers' instructions and do them in the style of Tamiya. Quick little look. First things first, you get a nice table of what of the 5 you can do and the different variations in them. There's actually 4 all told, A through D, just there. Alright, I'm not going to go through all these because Tamiya is just renowned for being clear, easy to understand, you know, showing the orientation of the wheels when you put them together. They make sense. This is my working instructions for the one I've just built. Okay, so you can see I've made a few marks and so forth. Alright, the sequence does make sense. You can deviate a little bit here and there. I like to put the whole together first before I add on any tools and so forth. The turret internals, you don't need to put these in if you're going to have your hatches closed. And that's it. I mean, very simple build. They do call out at all times for which version. Okay, so as you can see, I've crossed out that because that's not for me. So it's very easy to follow, unlike, for example, the Dragon set of instructions. You can't go wrong. That's a lower hull. Turret. These fell off. Okay. Now, it's a 2-piece turret, which is unfortunate, but does clip together, does go together okay. You've got a little bit of surface texture there, see that? Which is all hidden by the bin, so, you know, I think that's a carryover from the initial. There's a little bit more texture here, see that? Alright. Okay, turret. Fits together, there's no problems. Alright, there's no cleanup. Oops, it's Tamiya. There's nothing really to note here, everything's good. You get some tide marks, or not sink marks on the top there. That's very, very smooth as is the top here. You get a couple of weld marks here on the turrets, which is okay. Look, I'm not going to harp on it, but you know, it's Tamiya. They know what they're doing. It's an older kit, but it's still doing well. Wheels. If you get used to building Tiger tanks, you're going to be building a lot of wheels. These are pretty good. They have numbered the back of some of them. See that? So you can keep reference. And back there as well. See they got numbers on them? That's really, really handy. Academy does that as well. I know that because I'm building an Academy Tiger right now. You get different dry sprockets, okay, types, see there's different arrangement. Everything's fine here. Nice, very small sprue gates there for handles and so forth. One thing to mention, which is a great add-on here, is most Russian deployed Tigers took this wheel off because it gunked up with mud and snow and so forth, and so it only had the central flange left, so you can depict that, and there it is there. So that's a really good addition. Oh, and there's a few parts extra that are not applicable for the early, so there's a thing there, the barrel lock. It's for a mid, I think. Same SPRUE, who cares? Right, FIFO cleaners. This is a sticking point for the rivet counters out there. They don't like these FIFO cleaners being in two pieces because you get a seam line, you get different types, you know, whatever. I removed them on mine because most of the time they're removed. It's up to you to leave them on or not. Yeah, what are we looking at SPRUEs for? It's Tamiya, it's fine, okay? And this is the last one. You get the one piece side skirts there, which is handy from a construction point of view, but a pain if you want to remove any of them. The bin is one piece with a bottom you've got to put on. That's nice and very smooth and very shiny, which is good because these were made out of sheet metal. And a little bit of wood texture on the block there, but not much to write home about. Generally, it's okay, you know. It's good quality Tamiya, but it's not Dragon level of, or Rye Field, all these new Tigers that are coming out, sort of, you know, good quality. And they give you a little piece of this to do your FIFO tube. Right, decals, let's test the Tamiya decals. Here they are. Okay, what I'm going to do is I've got my Panzer Grey experimental sheet. Okay, for this test I think I'll use, I'm going to use this side because you can see in this half is coated in Future, this half is just paint, but the paint has been sanded back and given a slight polish, and also the Future as well, so that's nice and smooth. Alright, I'm going to try a few of the different coloured ones, some of the ones with a lot of the carrier film on it. We're going to try some of the crosses as well, and some of the smaller decals. Okay, let's go. Okay, it's been nearly 24 hours and I put another coat of Future on there, but as you can see there's quite a bit of silvering and cloudiness. The crosses actually came out better than I thought, but yeah, these are not the best decals. You're still seeing there's a little bit of carrier film there and there, but yeah. Bill? Okay. You'll see that I've made a few different adjustments to this one. Alright, for reasons I'll get into in my 7-part series on how I build AFEs. What's to look out for on this particular model? Alright, when you're putting this together, you've got to be careful of the hull and deck connection points here and down here. Mine needed a little bit of filler here, which was actually hidden by the spare antenna rod tube thing, and it's actually hidden by this tow cable as well. I may have rushed it may have had a little bit of warpage, I don't know, but it's okay, it's easy fixed. Similar sort of problem you can get a gap in here if you're not too careful. I had the tiniest amount of gap, 2 seconds with the fill, it was done. It's a Tamiya kit, it goes together beautifully. This took me literally, for construction purposes only, not modification, construction it took 2-3 hours tops. I mean, it's a blast. It's so much fun to put together. With the tracks, okay, that's how they end up. What I did is I used Tamiya's very thick cement, not its old extra thin stuff, and there's the join there, which you can just hide under some wheels, and I used a couple of these sort of clamps, okay, and clamp them, used a fair bit of glue, clamp them together, leave them set overnight, they're fine. Alright, I'm doing this as an out-of-box build for a competition, so I went with the tracks. Now what I have added, as you can see, all this white stuff, and that's one of the things you can do out of the box improvement wise, is I added some, hear how rough that is? A little bit too rough actually. I added some extra texture using Mr. Surfacer. This stuff. This is the thickest liquid putty, I guess you could say, in a bottle that you can. It's actually a primer. You're supposed to thin it down and spray it as a primer, and it's a 500 grade, and it goes up to 1200, which is pretty much the best lacquer primer on the market. What this is good for is thinning it down, painting it on the surface, and before that dries, put another layer on and stipple it with your brush, and you get a sort of this effect. Now it has been mentioned to me, and it's got to be mentioned again, the mantlet and the exhaust covers there, and a few other pieces, but I won't go into it, are the only cast pieces on the Tiger. The rest of it is rolled steel armour. They have 2 different types of textures. The cast iron stuff will be fairly rough. Okay, you look at all your reference photos, it is rough surface, the whole surface is rough. Rolled steel, on the other hand, it's not smooth, and this is a downside of the Tamiya plastic, which is baby bottom smooth, like the back here. Oops, there goes my barrel. It does have a little bit of texture. So I've done this, and then I'll use my sanding stick and just slowly bring it back until there's just a little bit left. Okay, because you're trying to replicate that 1940s industrial style. It's not perfect. Okay. The other issue with this build is this barrel. Okay, you can see I've used a lot of putty and sanding there, and I've been very, very careful to get the 2 pieces together and get them looking not like an oval profile. This is why 1-piece barrel is so much better for, and that's what I'll be using for my other early. Okay, there it is. Tamiya's early Tiger Van review. Just make a point that all my reviews that I'll do from now on are going to be build reviews. They're not going to be, you know, a bit of a gab fest and having a look at the sprues. No, we're going to look at it, talk about the good things about the kit, the bad things, what can be improved from aftermarket, and also your own skills. And then I'm going to build the bloody thing to show you that it can be built and any problems that come with it. I think that's the best approach to do reviews. And for example, Matt McDougall at Doogs Models, he's doing a similar approach using crowdfunding, where he's actually going to build the model blind, no filler, no enhancements, no improvements, just putting it together. It's a great kit. Alright, it's not a Dragon kit, fine. It's an excellent kit for a beginner who just wants to build a Tiger tank. You want to build a Tiger tank out of the box? Buy this kit. Okay? If you want to improve it, you don't need to spend a lot of money, really. Get a barrel, that's between $5 and $15, I can't remember how much I paid for mine. Get some grills, and if you really want to go to town, get some new tracks. So the next time you'll see this Tiger tank, hopefully it'll be finished and built and done as part of my 7-part process on how I build AFVs. So until next time, catch you later.